Hey guys, and welcome to a scrap between the mighty warriors Mr. Tefel and Ramzo Panzer. Now this is your trigger warning. There may be some kiting, there may be some air cheese, there may be a load of drawn out gameplay mechanics that a lot of people do not like, so warning, this is a big fat trigger warning. You have been warned of the future of this battle. Without further ado, let's hop into this and see the glorious, masterful build. So for the forces of the Warriors of Chaos, we do have some Royal Horsemen dotted in the front line. Now these guys are absolutely crucial in this matchup. They're one of your only range options, and Hell Cannons really don't cut it up against the flying bats of the sky. We have some Chaos Warhounds of Poison to help escort these guys, and I believe some Warhounds as well in the distance. One who is lurking in the trees, about to be gooned out by double scurvy dogs, and one in the distance as well, behind enemy lines. We do indeed have cheap and cheerful Chaos Marauders. They love nothing better than on a happy Wednesday to be out here hacking off heads and drinking the blood of their enemies, although they might struggle up against the Vampire Coast to actually drink some nice plentiful blood. We do have Forsaken in the back, so it's a bit of a Forsaken rush build coming in. Triple Forsaken, one of which is the Demon Spew, the Regiment of Renowned, who looks very fancy and cool, and at the same time can really rip and tear their way through the enemy rather quickly. We have some Mirror Guard. Mirror Guard an absolute staple in multiplayer, and for good reason. They're just so solid in basically every matchup. We have another unit of Forsaken over on the left, and it is going to be Foot Ever Chosen. Oh, hell yeah! You don't get to see Foot Archon much whatsoever. Coming in with Fireball, Cascade and Fire Cloak, and Burning Head. He has Slave King, Stand Your Ground, and Foe Seeker. I absolutely love it. We have an Exalted Hero up in the sky with a Manticore to help deal with the enemy air pressure, but I do not think the Chaos player was prepared for this much Air Force. We have not one, not two, not three, but 5 units of Deck Dropper Handgunners. They can do a bucket ton of damage from long range, and are really, really powerful up against factions like the Warriors of Chaos and Norska, who really struggle to deal with air threats such as this, particularly range air threats. You can see we have double Scurvy Dogs down here on the slide. They are triple gold chevron. I believe we have a load more in the distance, all clumped up underneath some trees. For the Leadership Corps, we have a bloated corpse, so it does look like we've got a nice little bit of swagger to this build as well, with our beautiful bloaty boy in here. And here's going to be rolling dirty either side of a couple of Gunnery Whites, as well as in the background there, the Vampire Fleet Admiral of Pistols. Look at that squad! The Avengers Assemble! That looks really quite cool there. I'm actually going to very quickly take a screenshot. Oh, doesn't look like it wants to do it. Bam! There we go. I might actually end up using that for the thumbnail. That looks really cool stuff right there. So, without further ado, let's hop in here and check out the battle. So an early fireball is going to be going down, aiming at the deck droppers with handgunners. Now, if you can kill a few models, that's pretty good. The main problem with the deck droppers is they can keep receiving replenishment ammo from those gunnery whites. So they can just completely free fire as much as they want, and they're doing a really good job right now focusing down the horsemen. They're one of the only counters to this air core that the Warriors of Chaos player has, apart from fireballs, and then they're going to do a huge amount of damage. So I really like this pressure immediately. Aim at the horseman, aim at the Exalted Hero. They are the main threats. You can even see some Scurvy Dogs as well, bounding forward, looking to get to grips with their enemy. They do rather wisely retreat once the Chaos Warhounds of Poison do fall back behind the shield wall of the glorious Marauders. Up in the sky, the Exalted Hero is trying his little heart out. He did manage to catch a few of the deck droppers there. Unfortunately, 0 kills for the absolute Chad so far. He does have no shield, despite the fact he actually has a shield on his model. That's rather interesting. Only 80 armor, that means he's going to be pretty susceptible as well to the armor piercing shots of the deck droppers, but he can hunt for as long as possible. Down here on the low ground, the Chaos Warhounds are pushing forward, aiming at those Scurvy Dogs. Now, a big problem for the Warriors of Chaos is all these characters over here are hidden at the moment. Luckily for him, his Chaos Warhounds have indeed spotted them. I wonder if he bounces onto the bloody corpse if he would do enough friendly fire. I don't think so. It's not really good up against single entity targets, unfortunately. So at least he knows where he has to aim now. And in this situation, you just have to push. You have to try and assassinate their opponent's ground forces as swiftly and quickly as possible, which is really hard if they're hiding them kind of in the corner underneath a load of trees. But once he's now spotted them with the Scurvy Dogs, he can push nice and aggressive. We do get a fireball going down the line of the Scurvy Dogs. Not a bad idea whatsoever, actually. We'll be able to kill quite a few models. If Burning Head comes in, unfortunately, a tad too late. If they'd reversed the order of that, the Scurvy Dogs may well be dead, but instead they have hopped on top of the horsemen who were being used to pin them in place. 2 units are currently routing. He needs to try to save these and not allow the scurry dogs to hop on them and finish them off for good, because otherwise there's just no counter pressure to the deck droppers up in the sky. It looks like some of the horsemen did manage to rally. Foot Archaon is going in after those scurvy dogs. Get back here, he says as he, oh my god, he just slaughters 3 dogs with one swing. Archaon not a happy bunny today whatsoever. Scurvy dogs though are currently feasting upon the souls of the Marauder horsemen and their poor steeds. However, there are some Chaos Warhounds counter-charging, looking to hop in there and do some decent damage. Unfortunately, they can break. They don't crumble like the scurvy ones. I honestly think scurvy dogs are some of the best units in the game, simply due to the fact that they're unbreakables and they're such a good backline harass unit because of that. Very swift, very agile as well. Archaon just floating around for now. Exalted Hero is also getting sniped out quite a bit. The Forsaken and Marauder push is continuing. They're trying to pin in the Gunnery Wights, actually relatively swift on their little crabos here. Moving away with the triple crab threat. Where's the Bloated Corpse? It looks like it might have exploded and killed some Chaos Marauders, which, you know, if you're going to sacrifice anything into Bloated Corpse, it may as well be them. A lovely burning head. Oh my god, that is huge! That is so good. Archaon up to 146 kills. Has just assassinated basically 4 units of the scurvy dogs. A lot of them are starting to crumble here. They're diving into the Chaos Warhounds, who should be able to, if they hold the line. They don't actually break. That's a disaster. These Scurvy Dogs definitely should have been going down there. Another unit has been defeated, but they are being used to force off the Marauder Horsemen at the moment, which is really bad news, unfortunately, for the Warriors of Chaos. Exalted Hero is fighting in combat up in the sky, which, you know, they are going to be able to finish him off through sheer weight of number, but he did manage to get 12 kills at the end of the day, and that's 12 less guns that are going to be shooting now at Archaon and the remainder of his ground forces. It looks like the crabs may get caught. Forsaken are actually pretty speedy themselves, up to 46 speed on these bad boys, and it is 45 on the gunnery right, so the Forsaken should be able to ensnare and trap them, and hopefully start to drag them down. But of course, we do have that lovely tier attack from the gunnery wights, which can get rid of a lot of Forsaken who don't have the best armor. 85 is not bad, but there you go. You can see the first one coming. Would have been better to do it along the line. Would have taken a little bit of time in though there, unfortunately. There was a summon down in the back, which was used to bunch up a bucket ton of units just to allow those gunnery rights to escape. But it looks like Chaos Marauders are also pinning down the Vampire Fleet Admiral of Pistols. I always say pistols, or vampires, but she has a pistol. But from now on, she shall be the Vampire Fleet Admiral of Pistols. That's what she's known for. Summoning a lovely little zombie pirate deckhand mob summon to allow the Vampire Fleet Admiral to escape once more. And this is buying more and more time for the deck droppers to bring the pain to the key units. However, one gunnery wight is starting to go down here, and they're trying to shoot Archaon, which may be a bit of a mistake. I don't know if going after the Forsaken would be a better idea, because the Ever-Chosen has 120 armor and a silver shield. He's not going anywhere in a hurry. Comes in and there's a big old fat slap to the gunnery wight. Much better use this time of that magical item. Does some okay damage to the Forsaken. Only 10 kills on this gunnery wight though, and Archaon is now dueling him to a standstill. Big old slashes with his flaming sword. He looks his opponent dead in the eye and sees the soul leave their body. One wight down, one to go, but also, of course, the Vampire Fleet Admiral. Pistols are still flying up in the sky, but if now one of the gunnery wights has gone, that is less ammunition they can now give to the deck droppers up in the sky. This other one is doing a rather swift retreat, really trying to escape as much as possible. Forsaken is moving around. Look at the sways of Chaos Warriors right now. 695 troops versus just 203 of the VP there. You can see in the distance the zombie pirate deckhand mob has been left behind. They are summoned, so they will eventually be falling here. And now the chase is back on. Vampire Fleet Admiral is just fleeing for her life right now. Probably wants to the support of the gunnery wight, who once again is hiding in the trees, cowering before the might of the Warriors of Chaos. But it's a good idea, right? He needs to hide these units where possible, try to buy time for the deck droppers, but they're looking rather beat up at the moment. A lot of them will start to crumble when they start losing their ammunition here, and the chase doth continue. So we are going to speed up a little bit here. Lovely little use of the zombie pirate deckhand mob summon once again to try to stop these units, but Forsaken are constantly force pathing their way free of this deckhand mob, outstripping them for speed, and continue to pursue this Vampire Fleet Admiral, who does pop Dance Macabre on himself to increase his speed in an effort to escape. The other gunnery wight does decide to move into combat for a reason. I guess it's to try to line up one of those shots once more, though the deck droppers are really running rather low now on ammunition. In fact, I think there's only like one unit really left. There's 2 units of ammunition, I suppose, but not much whatsoever. They can get replenishments, but I'm not sure it's going to be enough. This unit seems like it may have received some extra ammo, as it is now relatively healthy on that ammunition front. There you can see the replenishment does go in, and they're continuing to try to snipe the Ever-Chosen, which I think is a big mistake. The Ever-Chosen is going to be a big problem at the end of the day, like when you kind of have defeated the rest of the build, but he's just not taking like anywhere near the right amount of damage. And it looks like Chaos will eventually be able to catch these Krabbos who continue to flee for their life. Another good use there of their magic spell coming in, doing some okay damage, but nothing to write home about realistically. Forsaken continuing that pressure. Archaon isn't getting the buff of his Silver Shield because he's been shot in the back of the dome, but the deck droppers are running really low on ammunition right now. Got some more Chaos Marauders who can come back, and there is 9 rounds left, and that is it. Now, I believe this is on quick battles, not a tournament game, so there are no rules, so if this guy runs out of ammunition, it doesn't mean that the Vampires have to engage here or anything like that, but I think they're going to be forced to be honest. Vampire Fleet Admiral as well as the Gunnery Wights are now being really hounded and harassed, and it's forcing the deck droppers to actually jump in to try to free up their little Krabbos. But good play so far by Mr. Tefel, not giving up that pursuit, just doggedly charging once more after the crabs. Deck droppers will be finished off by basic Marauders and Arcane. That's all you need to leave behind to finish off these guys, and as usual, massive infantry to chase the enemy to the corners of the world. It's pretty funny that the Vampires started in this corner all the way over here, and the battle has taken place all the way in the far side. It looks like he's going to have to commit here to a final confrontation. He's forced himself back into the trees, which isn't the best idea because, of course, the Gunnery Wights will fight worse in the trees, whereas the infantry really won't suffer whatsoever. I think they probably want to stand and fight in the open, but is there much hope? Deck droppers are going to start diving down right now. Vampire Fleet Admiral as well as the Gunnery Wights can be pretty tanky foes themselves, but there's a lot of Forsaken and Mirror Guard still left alive. Those deck droppers are continuing to try to finish off Archaon. I wonder how many bullets are currently in his skull. It is ridiculous amount of bullets he has taken so far, but in the late game here, still looking very healthy. 150 kills on the bad boy. And, 2,900 health certainly isn't shabby whatsoever. Should give him enough to dispatch the Vampire Fleet Admiral here, as well as the Gunnery Wight. He's done a really good job today. That burning head, catching out 4 units of Scurry Dogs was a work of beauty. So we do get Cascade and Fire Cloak go down on the Demon Spew here, buffing up quite nicely, increasing their armor pierce and weapon damage, which is certainly nice. Now, not all the unit is fighting, it's kind of a bit of a mess in here, as the characters are surrounded. Archaon is trying to force his way now through his own men to get into combat. That's always been such a pain if you were like one of the generals trying to get to the front lines to inspire your troops, and it's just an absolute press of bodies. But he's trying to drive himself through, shield raised high. I am the Ever-Chosen, I shall deal with this filth. And he pushes forward. Looks like he will finally be able to start to duel the enemy lord. He's waited a long time for this. He's swinging his blade back and forth. We are going to get an overcast spell. What is it coming down? It is just an invocation of heck, trying to keep the Gunnery Wight topped up, as well as the Vampire Fleet Admiral. Unfortunately, Archaon now is well and truly popped into combat. Slayer of Kings had gone down, and he is here to slay all. There's some lovely damage right there. Gunnery Wights are nearly out of ammunition. 6 volleys are left. They've been topped up quite nicely over the course of the battle. Losing one of those Gunnery Wights early on really was a big problem here, unfortunately, for the Vampirates. Vampire Fleet Admiral is starting to struggle quite badly here. The Gunnery Wight is doing okay still, but the Vampire Fleet Admiral is having its arse absolutely handed to her. Archaon, the Ever-Chosen, Cascade and Fire Cloak popped on him right now, does dispatch one leader, and then counter strikes with his other blade, taking down the Gunnery Wight as well. Well played to both these guys. I hope you guys didn't mind the big fat trigger warning at the start. I know a lot of people don't enjoy these kind of high skirmish kind of kite style builds and so forth, but I thought it was an interesting battle and a pretty good display as well from Mr. Tefel on how to deal with builds like this. You just try to deny your enemy as many good targets as possible. Use your horsemen when you can. It kind of got those guys unfortunately taken offline relatively early on, but make your opponent waste shots and then hunt down those ground forces. It is a lot of effort. It is a lot of effort, and it is a big pain to try to drive forward and hunt down these Gunnery Wights and Vampire Fleet Admirals and so forth, particularly on their crabs. But you have to keep up that pursuit, and then eventually your opponent will make mistakes. We can see that first Gunnery Wight going down, and the big burning head as well, catching out those scurvy dogs. But well played to both these guys. Mr. Tefel and Ramzo Panzer was a very enjoyable game all round. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. We will delve into the damage dealt and damage value of all of these units in just a second. Oh my god, Archaon did really well there. But if you guys enjoyed, make sure to leave a big juicy fat thumbs up. Subscribe as well to the channel for more glorious content into the future. It definitely helps out quite a bit. And comment down below what you thought of the battle. There are links in the description to my Patreon if you'd like to support the channel, as well as my Discord where you can submit replays, get involved in live streams, tournaments, King of the Hills, all that good stuff. And we're actually going to be back tomorrow doing live streams for the first time in kind of a week and a half, because I've had a bit of a cold, so I haven't been able to stream for that long, but I'm certainly ready now to come back into the madness. Anyway, let's have a look at the damage dealt and damage value. Well played to Mr. Fell. Nice, decent victory there. 17k damage dealt, 150 kills, 3,862 damage dealt. Archon Never Chosen did fantastic work. Exalted Hero only 380. The Marauders across the board didn't do too much, but hey, their job was to hunt and hound, and that is something the Forsaken really did shine at. They're a very quick unit. 750, 720, 710, and 562 damage value. Mirror Guard got in there 463 at the end. Horsemen, unfortunately, Ramzo Panzer seemed to know what he was doing there, and sniped these guys out with his flying core. The Hounds as well were a little bit unfortunate in some of their Vanguard play. For the Vampire Fleet Admiral of Pistols, as we're now going to call them, 470 damage value, and the Granny White 171, that's really bad. The other one 965, doing far better with the use there of the magic item. Bloated Boy only 150 damage value, 18 kills, that was on Marauders, which is a bit of a shame. And the Scurvy Dogs did really good initial play, but yeah, getting them caught up by that burning head was a big decisive moment in the battle. And let's have a little look at the deck droppers here. 507 damage value, 788, 877, 605, and 688. So not shabby, but nothing amazing either. I do think shooting Archaon when he's such a small target, a lot of bullets kind of get wasted there, and he's high armor. I think shooting the Forsaken in the rear might have been a better idea, but then at the end of the day, how do you do with Archaon after that? Anyway guys, until next time, peace, and as always, stay awesome.